perpetually hair. Just perpetually have cat hair all over my face. So I do have to say, you guys, oh my gosh, I can feel it. It's right here. We are going to be playing with a brand new foundation from Benefit. I have in front of me, what is this foundation called? What did I do with the packaging? Just had it. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. We are going to be playing with a brand new foundation from Benefit. I love testing new foundations. There is nothing I love more than making my complexion look completely flawless. If you guys have been following me for any length of time, you know that I am a total skincare junkie, foundation junkie. Complexion part of makeup is pretty much my favorite because obviously when you achieve that flawless base and you find that foundation that just works beautifully for you, it can just change the game. It sets the tone for the rest of your makeup. It is just my main joy in life is finding a good foundation. So we are going to be trying out the Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation from Benefit. This is the first time I'm reviewing, I believe, anything from Benefit on my channel. So that's exciting for me, and I hope it's equally as exciting for you guys. Now, this is a medium coverage liquid foundation. It does have a broad spectrum SPF 15 sunscreen in it. It says here on the packaging that looks like octinoxate 3% is part of the sunscreen as well as a titanium dioxide. So this has both physical and chemical sunscreens in it. This says it has hyaluronic acid, flower acids, and photochromic pigments. That's new. I've never heard of that before. That will instantly adapt to brighten skin in any lighting. So that part really has me intrigued. The flower acids obviously claim that they will help boost your radiance, and hyaluronic acid will help keep the skin hydrated. So looking at the ingredients here, one thing that I absolutely love is that I do not see dimethicone in the first few ingredients. However, one thing that I do notice is alcohol is in the first 3 of the ingredients. It doesn't say what type of alcohol, it just says alcohol. There are some that are actually good for your skin, like fatty alcohols, and then there are alcohols that are more drying, can cause redness and inflammation. My skin is a little bit more sensitive to inflammation. I do have redness, so we will see if that exaggerates any of that, but I don't see any parabens or anything like that in here. Now, I will say that hyaluronic acid is listed almost at the bottom of the list. That is one thing I want to touch on very quickly. I don't want to go too deep into it, but when you're buying a product, whether it be a foundation or skincare, a lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors. They can tell you that the product has hyaluronic acid, flower acids, B vitamins, vitamin C. It can make all of these claims as long as that ingredient is listed somewhere in that ingredients list in the product. The lower on the list that it is featured means the less of it is actually in the formula. So there can't be very much hyaluronic acid in here at all. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what the flower acids are because I don't know their scientific names. So I'm not quite sure where that is featured on the list. Oh, actually, it's one of the last few. It says hibiscus sabdurifa flower extract. That's it. And it's literally like the second to last ingredient. How much is this actually going to do for your skin then? I don't know, but that's why we're here. We're going to test it out. I picked mine up in the shade number 6. There is a pretty decent shade range in this foundation. I kind of struggled trying to read the description and look at the photos that they had on Sephora's website to decide which shade would be best for me. I think I went just a little bit too dark, but we'll use some brightening concealers. We will work with it. I did read a couple of reviews that say that this foundation tends to oxidize on the skin. I didn't read that until after the fact, so I'm kind of like, oh, shit. Of course, my skin is prone to oxidization. It usually has something to do with the moisture level or the moisturizer that you have on your skin. So chances are this is just gonna end up being a tad dark for me. Typically, I don't use primers when I test out foundations as of recently because I just don't find myself using primers recently, but I am dry a bit around the nose, so I'm going to go back to a tried and true favorite, put a little bit of primer in this area here and on my cheeks where I tend to be a little bit more dry. So I'll be using the NYX Honeydew Me Up. As in typical Krystalkbeauty fashion, when I test a foundation, we're going to use one half of the face we're going to do one half of the face with a brush and the other half with a sponge. I have my two favorites right here in front of me. Before we jump right into it, just a couple of specs on this product. I did pick up the mini version. One thing that I absolutely love about Benefit products now is that they're doing a lot of their launches with smaller versions. This has 0.33 fluid ounces in it, and it still is in glass, which I absolutely love, and it does have a pump on it as well. The formula feels a little bit thicker, kind of reminds me a bit of my Do You Full Coverage Too Faced Fresh Glow Foundation. That's a mouthful. You guys know I've been loving that. If you've been watching my videos recently, that's kind of been my go-to foundation this summer. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in. Let's go ahead and get some foundation on this mug of mine. Which we try first, sponge or brush? Let's do sponge because right now I'm into sponge. So I'm gonna take just like a tiny, probably like half pump of foundation. I'm just gonna start to dot this. So as you can see, like I said, I know I picked too dark of a shade, but we will make it work. I am excited about this being a more medium coverage product. I prefer medium coverage foundations that I can build up. I love some good full coverage glam, don't get me wrong, but I am all here for the medium coverage buildable foundations. So that seemed to kind of go on way too easily. It didn't take much. I mean, as you can see, so this is obviously the side without foundation. You just watched me apply it. Duh. And then obviously here we are. So that little bit actually looks really good. I'm gonna take a little bit more for my forehead. So we're gonna layer this just a bit for the sake of layering, just to kind of see how this goes on in layers on top of each other. So first impressions, I have to say I really like this more than I thought I would. This truly looks like a second skin finish. It's kind of sinking right into the skin. I don't see that it's clinging to any dry spots. I don't see much oxidizing happening quite yet. It does pull a little bit orange, but like I said, I did pick shade number 6. I probably could have went with, I want to say like number 4 or 5. Now the minis only come in so many shades. I should mention that. At least when I looked on Sephora's website, they only had so many shades in the mini version, so just to let you guys know about that. So I did use about a pump all on the one half of my face, and that's using the sponge. So we all know that when you use a sponge, you're gonna lose a little bit of coverage. Things are going to shear out just a bit, but that's kind of my style at this point. Just gonna make sure I have this blended down the jaw area. And I did have a little bit of a blemish right here. It's not fully covering this, but I do think it did a pretty good job of covering my red. This just looks natural. That's what I like about this right now. This looks natural. It's like my skin, but better. Let's move on to the brush side. Again, starting off with about a half pump. Doesn't really have a scent, which is nice. So if you're sensitive to fragrance, you don't really have to worry about that. So disclaimer, I like to use a foundation brush that is just ever so slightly damp. I don't get it wet per se, but I will spray it with, there's like a spray bottle that has water in it, or you can use like a setting spray on here, which is nice if you have more dry skin. So I do enjoy that with a brush. This is very just slightly dampened. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill foundation brush, my absolute favorite brush. Do you guys see how like easy this is just blending out? Like I don't have to do much. It's just blending. I think I'm getting kind of the same coverage with the brush as I did with the sponge. That's kind of interesting, but we will layer it up. Let's go with like about a half pump more. I feel like it is a very hydrating formula. I feel like when I set it on my skin just like wants to like drink it up. It's kind of interesting actually. I feel like the brush side honestly looks just as beautiful as the sponge side. I'm really not seeing a whole lot of a difference. Same with coverage. I feel like I'm getting the same amount of coverage. This is a very much so light medium end of the spectrum when it comes to coverage. Even though I'm building it up, I feel like if you are someone who is looking for like a fuller medium coverage foundation, this might not do it for you. Again, I'm getting nice coverage from it. It's a more natural medium coverage. That's how I would classify it, which again, for me, me. I personally enjoy something like this coverage-wise is right up my alley. So that's where we are coverage-wise. Let's go ahead and layer some concealer. I actually need a new concealer since I've gotten color to the skin. My concealers are way too light. They really don't work for me. So I'm going to be mixing two. I'm going to use the Kylie Skin Concealer with the Milani Conceal and Perfect. So this is in the shade, what is this one? Light Vanilla for the Milani. And then I have the Pine Nut for the Kylie Cosmetics. I actually really love the Kylie concealer, but I bought a shade that was just far too dark for me at the time. So I just never really used it, and I saw it today and I was like, meh, perfect timing. Maybe we don't even have to. Maybe I'll just, we'll see. I'll use a little bit of the Milani. I love this concealer. I haven't used it in a while because I'm so in love with my Jeffree Star concealer, but it is just way too light for me right now. He needs to restock those because they're so good. I'm just gonna put a little bit of Pine Nut on top of this one here, and then we will blend it out. Very brightening. Quite brightening. So I don't feel like my concealer is moving the foundation around at all, which is really nice. Sometimes that can happen with certain foundations when they're just not a very good formula. If I put concealer on my eyes and I start to blend it out, I'll notice that I'll get like this line of demarcation right here where like my skin wants to peek through. All right, so far I'm actually quite happy with the way that my skin looks. I know on camera that this concealer looks a little bit crazy, but right now looking in the mirror where I am, it doesn't look too bad. I promise you that. It is quite brightening, yes. But that's all I have to work with right now, so here we are. So yeah, right now I feel like my skin just looks really luminous and healthy and like my skin, but better. Highlighting under the eyes with the concealer kicked it up a notch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the rest of my face, put on the rest of my makeup, bake a little bit, and then I will be back with my first impressions, and then we will also be doing some check-ins and wear tests. So I will be right back. All right, you guys, so my makeup layered beautifully on top of this foundation. I did go ahead and film another video in between to kind of give this foundation a chance to really sit into the skin, to set down, to really kind of get an idea of how things would settle after about 20-30 minutes. And I have to tell you that I am extremely impressed. This foundation looks beautiful on the skin. If I said I wasn't surprised, I would be lying to you because I am. I am a little bit shocked. This little guy is so happy. Look at the little smiley face here. And, you know, he or she's happy. She's happy for a good reason because my skin looks real good right now. I am in love. So I can't wait to see how this wears. It's very hot in my beauty room right now, and I sweat a lot here on the top part of my lip, and I don't even see anything breaking up or looking patchy yet or separating. This is just a really beautiful formula thus far. Please excuse the mascara transfer on the top of my lids here because I just filmed a mascara video for you guys that will probably go up after this one. So I'm going to continue to wear this throughout the day. I'll do a couple of check-ins with you guys, maybe in a few hours or so, and then I'll do a final check-in at the end of the night so we can kind of get a final consensus on how the, what is this? The Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation wears. I will be checking in with you guys in a little bit. All right, you guys, so I am here with check-in number 1. I just got done eating a very late lunch, so I hope I don't have salad or anything like that in my teeth. Let's go ahead and take a look at how things are doing. So you guys, I am so far extremely impressed with this foundation, and I'm gonna check the chin area. Nothing is breaking up. Nothing breaking up around the nose really at all. Everything is looking really, really good. Like I said, I'm kind of shocked. We're only a little over 2 hours in, like I said, but so far, to me, I think that that's wearing quite nicely. We'll have to keep checking in and seeing how things go. I don't look oily or anything. In fact, I feel like my makeup still looks pretty freshly applied, don't you guys think? I mean, this looks pretty damn good. I mean, they do say it's a flawless brightening foundation, and I can say that the description is pretty spot on. Medium coverage. My skin looks very flawless. That's the one thing I have to comment on, especially, is the fact that I don't have any exaggeration in texture. I didn't really put a primer on, only a hydrating primer right here on the nose, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Everything just looks so like flawless and velvety and bright and plush and really, really good. So no more oxidizing or anything like that. I just think that it looks awesome. Yay, I am so excited. I'm gonna wait a few more hours before I do another check-in. So I'll probably check in another 4 hours. That way we will be giving this kind of like, you know, 6.5-ish hour wear test. We'll see. I'll eat dinner, hang out more, probably gonna head outside for a little bit. It is the 4th of July nonetheless, so I'm about to be a little bit more active, so we'll see how things hold up outside, see if it really is long wearing, but I'll be back in a few hours to do a final check-in. All right, you guys, so this is my final check-in. I have had this foundation on for about 7 hours, and I have to be totally real with you. I am very impressed. Now, I just got done looking back on the Sephora website just to kind of do an overview of some reviews on this foundation, and there isn't the greatest reviews, and it just goes to show how personal makeup is. What might not work for somebody else could totally work for you, because this foundation, it works for me. It actually is right up my alley, especially for this time of year. Light medium coverage, something that will just help even out my skin tone, put down just a little bit of a base so that I can still wear some bronzer, some highlight, which my highlight is still here. I'm wearing a combination of the Persona, what is this, the Zuma highlight. You guys know I love that. I've talked about that quite a bit on my channel recently, and I mixed it with Santorini from Kylie. This is one of her loose highlights, loose pigments. Love this, so beautiful. Everything wore pretty good. I mean, I have a little bit of wear right here on the tip of my nose, which is normal, but it's not breaking up. There is a difference between breaking up and just wear for me. I touch my nose a lot. I have allergies. My nose is itching 24/7, so I'm doing a lot of that. But despite that, I mean, yeah, it's rubbed off a bit, but it's not breaking up. It doesn't look weird. I've eaten lunch and dinner with this makeup. I haven't done any touch-ups whatsoever. I haven't powdered or anything, and I think that it looks really nice. It's not overly shiny or oily. Things are looking pretty good. This foundation performs exactly as described. It's definitely a flawless brightening foundation. Let me know what you guys think about this foundation. Have you tried it? Have you tried any other of Benefit's complexion products? I know they launched a powder version of this along with this foundation, so I'm curious if there's those of you who have tried it, what you think. I would love to know. Let me know if there are other Benefit products that you'd like to see me try, or let me know some of your Benefit faves. Maybe I'll try those out. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. Of course, share it. Helps me out so much. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!